There is one thing experienced travelers know that most people never figure out, and it has nothing to do with booking early, paying more, or having a fancy airline credit card. It is a single, repeatable trick that consistently lands you in the best available seat on almost every flight you take. And once you know it, you will never go back to the old way of choosing seats again. The airline industry is built on systems, and like any system, it has patterns. Those patterns create windows of opportunity that the average traveler simply does not know exist. The people sitting in the exit rows, the bulkhead seats, and the coveted window seats with extra legroom are not always the ones who paid premium prices. Many of them simply knew when and how to look. Before revealing the trick itself, it helps to understand why seat selection is so broken for most travelers. When you book a flight, you are shown a seat map that reflects availability at that exact moment. What you see is not the full picture. Airlines block certain seats and release them at specific intervals before departure. They hold back premium economy seats, exit rows, and extra legroom options as inventory tools, releasing them gradually as the flight date approaches. This means the seat map you saw when you booked your ticket is almost never the same seat map that exists 48 hours before your flight. Most travelers pick a seat at booking and never look again. That is the mistake. The trick is simple. Check your seat assignment again exactly 48 hours before your scheduled departure, and then again at the 24-hour mark when online check-in opens. These two windows are when the most dramatic seat map changes happen, and they are almost universally ignored by casual flyers. Here is why this works. Airlines release blocked seats in stages. Some seats are held for elite frequent flyers and released back into general availability if those passengers do not claim them by a certain cutoff. That cutoff is typically between 48 and 72 hours before departure. When those seats open up, they appear on the seat map without any announcement. No email, no notification, no fanfare. They simply become available, and whoever checks first gets them. Exit row seats with significantly more legroom, bulkhead rows with no seat in front of you, and even seats in premium economy cabins that were previously grayed out suddenly become selectable at no additional charge. Airlines are not advertising this. They are not sending you a message that says better seats just opened up. You have to go looking yourself. The second window, the 24-hour mark, is equally powerful for a different reason. This is when online check-in opens for most major carriers. At this point, passengers who have not checked in yet still have their seat assignments, but a new wave of seat changes happens as the airline begins finalizing the passenger manifest. People upgrade, people cancel, people get rerouted. Every one of those changes creates a ripple effect on the seat map. Seats that were occupied 24 hours ago are now empty. And again, whoever checks first gets the best pick. Putting this into practice is straightforward. When you book your flight, take a screenshot of the current seat map so you have a reference point. Set 2 calendar reminders, one for 48 hours before departure and one for 24 hours before departure. When those reminders go off, log into the airline's website or app, pull up your booking, and navigate to the seat selection screen. Do not just glance at it. Spend a few minutes actually studying the map. Look for seats that were previously blocked or unavailable that are now open. Pay specific attention to exit rows, which are typically rows over the wing with significantly more legroom. Look at bulkhead rows, which are the first rows of each cabin section and offer extra space in front of you. Check for any seats marked as preferred or extra legroom that are now showing as selectable without an additional fee. If you find a better seat, move immediately. Do not wait to think about it. Seat maps in that final window before departure can change by the minute. If you see something good, claim it on the spot. One additional layer to this strategy involves using a free tool called Expert Flyer, or a similar seat tracking service. These platforms allow you to set alerts for specific seats on your flight. If the window seat in row 14 becomes available, you get a notification. This removes the need to manually check and makes the whole process even more passive and reliable. The combination of timed manual checks and automated alerts is what separates the occasional lucky traveler from the person who consistently ends up in a great seat, regardless of when they booked. Understanding the airline's motivation makes the trick even easier to trust and use consistently. Airlines are not trying to give you a bad seat out of spite. They are managing inventory in a way that maximizes revenue and rewards loyalty. Elite status members on most major carriers get complimentary access to preferred seats and extra legroom options as a perk of their frequent flyer status. Airlines hold those seats in reserve to make sure elite travelers can always find a good spot, even if they book last minute. But here's the catch. Not every elite traveler takes every flight they book. Cancellations happen. Upgrades to business class happen. When an elite passenger gets bumped up to first class or cancels their trip entirely, their reserved seat in economy becomes available. The airline does not need to hold it anymore. It goes back into the general pool. This is the inventory release that creates your opportunity. The same logic applies to seats that airlines hold back for operational reasons, things like weight and balance considerations on smaller aircraft, or seats near emergency exits that require a flight attendant to verify passenger eligibility. As the flight gets closer and the passenger list solidifies, those operational holds get lifted and seats become available. None of this requires you to game the system or exploit a loophole. You are simply paying attention at the right time, which is something the airline's own systems are designed to accommodate. Consistency is what turns this from a lucky break into a reliable travel habit. The travelers who always seem to end up in good seats are not luckier than everyone else. They are more systematic. They treat seat selection not as a one-time decision made at booking, but as an ongoing process that continues right up until they board the plane. There are a few additional moves that amplify the core trick. First, if you are traveling with a companion and you want to sit together, use this same window to find two adjacent seats that may have opened up in a better location. Couples and pairs often get separated during booking because good adjacent seats are scarce early on. But by the 48-hour window, the map has usually shifted enough that better options exist. Second, if your airline offers free same-day seat changes at the airport, arrive a little early and check the seat map one final time at the gate. Gate agents occasionally have access to seats that are not visible in the app, and a polite, friendly request can sometimes get you moved to an even better spot if the flight is not completely full. Third, pay attention to aircraft type. When airlines swap aircraft due to operational changes, the entire seat map resets. A swap from a smaller regional jet to a larger mainline aircraft can suddenly create dozens of new seats, including premium options, that were not available before. Checking your booking details in the days before your flight for any aircraft changes is a simple habit that can pay off significantly. The core of all of this is attention. The airline seat system is not static. It breathes and shifts constantly in the days and hours before a flight. Most passengers treat it as fixed and miss every opportunity that movement creates. The ones who check back, who set reminders, who use the tools available to them, consistently end up more comfortable, more rested, and more satisfied with their travel experience. It costs nothing. It takes minutes. And it works on virtually every major carrier, every route, and every class of service. The best seat on your next flight is probably already available. You just have to know when to look. Have you ever regretted selecting a certain seat? Please let us know your experience below. Like, share, and subscribe for more videos.